Hello, Deep Mindfulness Collective. You've entered the void. This is the featureless black void that is... Hello? I'm supposed to be appearing now. By this point, I'm supposed to appear because you hit the button. Oh, damn it. Okay, give me 10 seconds. Folks, lovely to see you here. Have fun in this. Don't be naughty in the chat while I go replug the camera in. I'll be right back. 10 seconds. Okay, that should have worked, technically. See what happens. Oh yeah, smoking. Okay, folks, let's see here. Let's get this thing rocking. What's up, folks? What's up? Thank you so much for your patience. That was a very, basically I was getting ready with the dog, and then, and I'm shouting too. I was getting ready with the dog, and then what happened? Glass broke. One of my favorite glasses smashed on the ground. So cheers. I did not clean it up. There was not time. And so now there is a very smashed glass in my kitchen and a very confused puppy in her little pen. Good morning from Brooklyn. Grateful I can see you, Yash. Well, I'm grateful I can be seen. As always, a delight. Christian Ingram from Guatemala, grateful for cold shower. You know, I've been off my cold shower game recently. I was doing that for a while, and I feel like I want to get back to it. Such a nice endorphin rush. Okay, everyone else, if you're just getting here, tell me where you're at. I'm in BK. What am I grateful for? Oh, yeah. I am grateful that the dog is back from the ICU. Did you guys hear, is this like out of your range? No, I think Friday she was still at the ICU. Or maybe she was already back. I can't remember. Jeez Louise. Anyway, the dog was in the ICU, which, if you don't know already, is the intensive care unit. She had a parvo. She's fine now. It was one of those things where they were like, nope, she cannot leave the hospital. She's like, it's too dangerous for her to leave. I have no reason to do this. I just want to see the chat. I just want to see a lot of floaters. So that's for everyone for joining. We heard Nick knows all about it. See, this is an old story. It's boring. I need more dramatic stuff to happen in my life to have drama for you folks. Folks, I'm very happy to be here. You wouldn't believe it. I didn't even know there was an ICU for dogs. It's great, of course. I mean, there's a whole parallel medical system, and the cost of which is basically identical. It was crazy amounts. I mean, I don't even want to say the amount because it's such a sign of privilege. But this is why you have dog insurance, because it was. I mean, I'll just say it was triple the cost of my first car, which my first car was pretty crappy, but either way, I was like, holy this is crazy. But I'm glad the dog's alive, and this is why I'm going to buy pet insurance. And I don't know what it is, but everything smelled like weed in the last 24 hours. I don't know if it's my neighbors or something, but everything smells like weed in here. Anyway, maybe I've been smoking weed, I just don't remember. No, probably not. Pet insurance has saved my wallet quite a few times. Yeah, it's tough though, because it's like anything else, it's always like, well, this but not this, and well, a little of this but not, and it's like, wait, what do you cover? Just please be clear. And their whole thing is to be sort of unclear. And well, it's a little of this but not that, and this piece of that, and it's like that's their business model, is to be sort of unclear in a way that would make them money. So it's hard to understand like which one you're actually supposed to get. So anyway. That is that. Folks, it is lovely to be here with you. I don't know if you know that, but it is great, exciting, happy to be here with you. I just had a lovely session with a student just before this. And P.S., I want to let people know, people have asked me to remind them or mention this when it's happening again. Group mentorship is starting. So these are going to be 2-hour sessions every other week with a group optional group meetup in the alternate weeks where people can practice together. And we're going to have a small group, 8 people. We can have several cohorts if we fill up a group, and then we will go from there. So the point of it is that very happy to be here with you. Group mentorship is starting. And oh yeah, I just had a session with a one-on-one student, and we did a lovely meditation that I really liked. How do you find out about group mentorship? If you're on the email list, you'll find out. But if you're finding out now, you'll find out now. But what I'll do is I'll send out an email to make sure everyone is on board. Just be basically, get there early. When you get the email, just reply and say yes. And what it'll be is I'll send out maybe what I'll do is I'll try to get it ready and have it premiere here on Wednesday morning, and then after that like a sign up if people want. Yeah, insurance companies and banks are the worst. Can't leave any loose ends or they'll chew you up. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like not surprising that people have like just continuous lawyers that they're like, can you read this thing? Can you? And it's just like, if I had the capacity, I would just have a lawyer read like every single thing I was involved in. You're going to sign up for iTunes? Well, someone's got to read this contract. You can't just scroll through it and hit yes. That's a very bad idea. But Nate, you should be on our email list. If you sign up for kind of anything we do, you should be on the email list. I'd be surprised if you're not. If you've ever received an email from us announcing anything, you are on the list. It probably seems like you're not on the list because we barely use our email list. It's like marketing-wise, like the poorest use. It's like, don't want to bother people. But if you ever received any email from us that is like announcing this, we don't send those out one by one, obviously, so then that means you're on the list. If you would like to make sure you're on the list, you can sign up for these 15 meditations. If you've ever signed up for those, you're on our list. And that's it. But the meditation that I did with this student today was really fun. It was exciting, and it was delightful. Fun, exciting, delightful. Fun, exciting, delightful. That third one's hard. Fun, exciting, delightful. This is what we're going to do today. I'll just skip that middle one. Fun, exciting, delightful. It was a great time. And the point of it is, what we did was we did we could call it a this, not this practice, although we dropped labels pretty quickly. If anyone doesn't know what these words mean, I can explain them. But basically, it's a samadhi practice, balance of mind, and we're using the sensations of the hands, but not needing the sensations of the hands to be localized where we think the hands are, just letting them be sort of like a soft cloud of sensation. And then over time, starting to recognize that a lot of the agitation that happens in a concentration practice is attention, the sort of point of the spear of the mind, the sort of the part that like looks and focuses, this kind of thing. That part is like a long telephoto lens. So if you have this like long focal lens, like if you're, they look at wildlife with, you're very far away. Any movement is like, looks giant, the whole thing's shaking, this kind of thing. So it's a very pointed thing, whereas awareness is big and broad, so it doesn't look like anything's shaking. In fact, I think I used this metaphor in one of our classes. I think I made a little video to show like what this looks like. But so the point of it is that what we're doing actually is finding this focal point, and then rather than having it focused in like this, using the front of the mind, all that jitteriness, all that movement, all that stuff, we sort of, in a sense, ignore that. Because part of what it seems like we're trying to do sometimes is get the mind to stay still, like stop moving as I pay attention to X. So you can do this as we're talking. The mind is like trying to pay attention to the breath, or trying to pay attention. It's just like jitter, and distraction, pull, push, pull. In a sense, it's like if that's the front end of the spear, like that's the point of the mind. Way back at the back of the mind is the awareness, which is very broad, very spacious. It's like open up to this whole thing. It's almost as though you use the back of this. It's a weird metaphor because it doesn't make any physical sense. It's like the back of the arrow sort of circles around and just holds the whole experience. And so the center kind of evaporates. And you just sort of go with the part of the mind that kind of knows the experience regardless of whether it can see or tell the experience is like right there in the front. It's sort of like, no, I just have a sense that that's the sensation. So for instance, I'll give you an example. And again, this might be too weird, whatever. If it's challenging, then that's good times for all. right now, because having just done this, I can detect the sensations of my hands because I was focusing on the hands. And let me wait till I can actually do it because okay, there it is. I can detect them in the seeing. It's like the seeing sensations and the hand sensations are mixed because awareness doesn't care about edges and borders and these kind of things. It can just be aware and move things and place them kind of anywhere. So it's just sort of as though the sensations of the hands were like a soft cloud and the sensations of seeing were like a soft cloud. The detail on the seeing goes down, the detail on the hands goes down, but I can still detect them in the seeing. They're like mixed together. So just an example. And obviously that and not having eaten anything and just having foamy caffeine, hear that foam? That has probably got me all jazzed, so that's exciting. Chris Ingram fixed my mic so I can use Discord. That is very exciting. Folks, that's the news of the day. Let's get it. Okay, so, and I don't want Chris to feel lonely on Discord, so I'd love to hear some other voices on there, but no pressure. Let's find that nice comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. And we'll begin in a moment. Okay, so find that nice comfortable position. Turn the mic off so I can cough as loudly as I want. Much better. Okay, so find a nice comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. I'm going to encourage folks to practice in stillness, only moving if you need to, taking 30 seconds or a minute to do so slowly, or if you feel overwhelmed, you can feel free to make any adjustments you need, being sure that you're not pushing yourself. If it's too much, and that's totally fine. So when you're ready, we'll begin. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths, just feeling the body rise and fall. Each time we begin a meditation, we begin with the momentum of all of the previous moments. So, one of these streams of momentum is the speed of the mind. And typically the mind is moving at the speed of the moments that just preceded it. So if we were speaking and interacting at a certain rate, this is the velocity that the mind will be moving in. So as we physically relax the body, noticing how the mind takes that in. Does it stay with it continuously? Does it jitter around, pulled towards various sensations? And any of these movements is natural, just helpful to know. So physically relaxing the body, starting with the head, relaxing the head, including the muscles behind the eyes and the back of the tongue. The neck and shoulders. Relaxing the arms. And as we relax the hands, relaxing the hands more deeply than we can even physically feel. So, tuning into the hands, and as though our relaxed hands were gripping something, just letting them go even further. It might even feel almost like a push, like we're pushing the micro muscles away from the bone. Letting go of any attempt to control the breath, just letting the body breathe as it will. And noticing the natural tightening and relaxing of the upper chest and upper back as the breath comes and goes. Relaxing the belly and relaxing the tailbone and lower back so much that it actually relaxes the hips. Relaxing the legs and relaxing the feet. And allowing awareness to take in our overall body experience, the whole body. And without isolating any particular area, relaxing in all places at once, everywhere in the body together as one large field. And without letting go of that overall body experience, the relaxation all over, without needing to collapse down or zoom the mind in, simply bringing a little bit of our awareness to the sensations of the hands. If we prefer to use the breath as the object of meditation, we can do that, but I'll be guiding in relationship to the sensations of the hands. So the mind is a bit spacious, holding all of the body as a soft category, not trying to get every little detail, just a general capture. And then within that larger experience, simply knowing some detail of the sensations of the hands. If these are hard to locate, it's okay to engage in a tiny bit of micro movement in the hands, so subtle that someone even touching our hands might not even be able to notice the movement. Just enough to let these sensations be vivid within this larger field. Once we find them, and we can engage in stillness once more. And what we're cultivating is deep continuity with the sensations of the hands. Staying with these sensations continuously. Knowing that if we use our attention, the point of the mind, if we try to isolate detail, this will often not be terribly stable. It'll feel like a shaky camera or a view of these sensations that is flickering. But if we can use this spacious awareness, not worrying about the details, the sharpest pieces of information about the sensations of the hands, but the part of the mind that simply knows their continuity, knows that they're there continuously. When we come in contact with that part of the mind that can know these sensations continuously, we could, if we want, if it helps, softly label that sensation as this. This. Not worrying about the location of these sensations, not needing them to be where we typically experience our hands, in the shape of hands. Just letting the sensation be known. In effect, letting go of the mental image or prioritizing the sensations, just letting them be continuous, known by awareness. Knowing that there's a vividness of awareness, a clarity and continuity. And so finding this quality within those sensations. And at times, if the mind drifts, know that this is natural. Simply letting the clarity of awareness locate these sensations once more. Being interested in this continuity. This is the minimalist self-challenge. Where is that part of the mind that can stay with these sensations continuously? Because the sensations are continuous. It is the mind that is jittering and moving. So where is that part of the mind that can know these sensations regardless of all of the small vicissitudes of our attention? It's available, perhaps even allowing the sensations to be felt in more of awareness, in a larger space. Not forcing the sensations to spread or open, simply using an open awareness to know them. Whatever other sensations, if the mind is pulling towards some thought, some impulse, know that that's natural. That may arise, but it's simply part of the mist of awareness. Simply letting the sensations of the hands continuously be part of that mist. No need to push or pull or to change anything. And staying with the practice, staying in stillness, staying with the sensations of the hands. I'd like you to mix the sensations of the hands with a tiny bit of light entering the eyelids, letting the vividness of seeing increase the vividness of the sensations of the hands. And as you eventually allow the eyes to rest on a single point, it's not text, not a screen, letting all of that nuance that comes with seeing bring with it all of this nuance of the sensations of the hands. Noticing there's a way in which the two can mix. Not zooming in with the eyes, but just letting seeing occur and noticing that this seeing experience can be like an atmosphere or a cloud that is mixed with the cloud that is the sensations of the hands. And as you begin to allow the eyes to slowly move around your environment, again staying with the practice, moving at the speed that you can allow these two to mix. And in this way, seeing that this particular moment is the great teacher that shows us how we might bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay, so making any adjustments you need to allow the body to be comfortable. Okay, so folks, what was that experience like? What happened and what are you like now? I realize the command for the voice Discord is ! Question mark. Boom. Okay, that first one is our voice chat. There we go. Second one is the general Discord. And then the third one is how to use Discord. What is that? What is Discord? It's a funny video that our friend Tom Alon made. That is where we can voice chat ourselves up and down. Let me jump in the chat so I know a friend of mine is making a bot so that I can hear when people enter, but for now I have to just pay attention. Voice, music, chat, voice, live stream. Okay, I'm in. Yeah. Okay. Folks, what is up? What is the dills? What's happening? What is new? What was that experience like? What happened and what do you like now? Use those digits if you want. Jump into the voice chat if you want. That is in the comments section here. It's in the chat. And we will go from there. I'm going to jump in so I can hear people's reports. I had one person really complain. They're like, the computer voice, it kills me every time. Well, that's what you have. That's what you get for in the waiting room. Great. Okay. So Chris, I'm going to ask you to transition to be just audio for Discord, and then we'll begin. Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
To be just audio.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Nice. Finally.
Finally, it worked.
Yeah. I fucking who knows, man. Always.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so tell me, what was that experience like?
Well, for some reason, I get into these states where um, like my mind wants to focus on my breath, and
Hmm.
if I'm not focused on my breath, it just stops breathing. So uh, it takes a while to relax that, and then yeah, I noticed like there was a glimpse of these sensations of the hands, like elsewhere,
Hmm.
and it and not having the shape of a hand, were more like spherical,
Yep,
if that makes sense.
totally.
So yeah, I stayed there for a while. Then I tried to open it, got distracted a bit, but overall pretty well. I'm guessing I'm gonna need a lot more practice to hold it and hold this like open awareness, because mine always tries to like focus.
Yeah, and also know that you can just use the breath. I mean, I was using the sensations of the hands because that's the way I've been teaching samadhi practice lately. But if you're used to the breath, just you don't have to make the transition. The breath is totally fine. If that's the case, a lot of the time what people will do is try to feel the breath everywhere, and then that is actually that's you're already using awareness at that point. So it's functionally very similar. But are you familiar with noticing the breath all throughout the body?
Kind
Like
of.
in a sense, can you
Not.
feel your breath in your feet right now?
No.
Okay, so that's a pretty high bar. So just know that that's not terribly easy. But so what you typically will do in order to move yourself there is notice that. Okay, where can you feel your breath very clearly? Chest is typically pretty easy, maybe in the nose, this kind of thing. Notice when you breathe in. You can do it now, but I'm going to guide pretty quickly, and I think I have some recordings of this. But yeah, I think it's if someone wants to search, that'd be awesome. But I think it's like feeling the breath everywhere, or the breath body, or I forget what it is, but it's on the replays. But basically, you feel the chest, rising, falling. Notice that in order for that to happen, the shoulders have to be rising and falling. The head has to be rising and falling. So feeling the breath moving the body there. If it's moving the shoulders, it has to be moving the elbows. No way, it's not. If it's moving the elbows, it has to be moving the wrists. If it's the wrist, it has to be moving the hands. So you have the entire upper torso is actually moving with the breath. So you can feel those details. And then you kind of do the same thing. It's a little harder, but not terribly hard with the rest of the torso. Because it's more stable, it's a little more difficult. But once you feel the hips moving, which they are because the spine is moving, then you can say, okay, the legs are moving, the knees. It's sort of subtle, but you don't have to get every inch. Like, it doesn't have to be like, well, I can't feel it my pinky toe, so it doesn't count. You're just trying to hold the breath in a big space, and that then results in you're now using awareness to hold the breath rather than attention. So that's one way to get there. And then that's groovy. You can go from there. Does that help at all? Okay, a little radio silence. Maybe Chris is contemplating. Okay, Chris, thank you for that report. Very helpful. We're going to jump onto some chats here. It looks like maybe something happened on your end. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. If there's anything else, we'll chat again. Great to see you. Speak with you soon. Okay, Nate says, curious, what is the goal in a meditation like that? So what I'll say is that because many meditations, especially something like this, is so fundamental to the mind, to say like, what's the goal? It's like saying like, what's the goal to having a body? It's like, like it's a very, very broad question. I think a larger or a maybe more appropriate question, or a question that might be worth exploring is, here are my goals. How would this help with that? Which is usually what people actually want to know. So the range of goals can be extremely wide, but ultimately it's around clarifying and balancing the mind. That clarity and balance of mind can be, awakening. It can be totally transformational. So it can have a very wide range of effects and those kind of things. So hopefully that helps answer the question. Hopefully that does the trick. Okay, Julia Temple says,
started out agitated and relaxed quickly. My arm kriyas are currently much fewer than before, so I used my hands this time. Sometimes I did feel an energy in my arm. Relaxation led to tiredness, lots of yawning and distraction. Very interesting and relaxing sit, still relaxed and tired now.
Great. And, you know, it's not like this has to be the case because it can still be a great practice without it, but I'm curious on people's experience of feeling the sensation not in a seemingly localized, like hands, this size, this shape, actually any sort of change. Christian mentioned, Chris Ingram mentioned like them feeling like a sphere. The sensations don't really care about their shape. That's actually the mind shaping them and saying, oh, it's in the shape of a body. The sensations are much more fluid than that. Julia Temple goes on to add,
Are you changing the default to the hands because of trauma-sensitive practice?
okay, what's happening here? So I think I missed. Okay, what does it say here? Daniel, is that regular Daniel Ingram? Daniel Ingram 13 started following us 1 minute ago. If that's regular Daniel, the Daniel that I know and love, please let me know. So maybe someone using that as an avatar. Thanks so much for the follow, whoever it was. Lovely to see you here. If it is Daniel, let me know. If you want to chat and it's Daniel, let me know. That'd be great. The next piece is here. Are you changing to default? That's part of why I'm doing going to the hands. I also, I'm just going to say flat out, I have a little bit of a prejudice against the breath because people really think the breath is like, that's what it is. That's the place you concentrate and that's where you get all the magic. And they forget that you can do it with any sensation and everything we experience is a sensation. I also like the hands because I had this big breakthrough when I, maybe like 15 years ago, something like that, where I just paid attention to my hands all throughout the day, which is very easy because we're constantly gripping things and touching things and, the hands are just really present, and it really kicked the continuity of my practice over into a new phase. So I really liked that. So that was another piece of just personal. And then it's also, I like that with the hands, you can either have them be still or you can have like micro movements, or if you really can't concentrate, you can go ahead and like move the fingers, which is still a pretty subtle form of movement, but there's so much sense data there. There's also, the hands are packed with massive amounts of nerve endings. So that is the general case. Okay, let's see here. Jean says the following.
I started the meditation happy to meditate, but also hoping that I'd get some kind of sign that I'm making progress. I was not visited by Jesus, Buddha, etc., but was blown away when you said to let some light into my eyes. I thought we had done 5 to 10 minutes max.
That's great.
Feeling good.
Nice. Lovely. And I'm curious if people were able to, again, similar question, able to mix seeing and the sensations of the hands. High bar, tough to do, but if that was available, that was just a fun little thing we can do. It sort of brings this idea of background practice to a different place where it could actually be, the sensations could be mixed in with any of our experiences if we can, manage the awareness in that way.
After having experienced a very unruly, agitated mind most of the day and being caught in it almost all the time. A game of this not this seemed just what was needed. Was so sick of its negativity, so it wasn't really hard to be uninterested in the content and stay with the hands.
Nice.
Got caught up a few times when it brought up the real juice, but it stayed very loud throughout the entire meditation.
I think by it you mean the sensations of the hands. Lovely. Okay. The internet apparently conked out. Oh, cool. So that was his, that's your brother, Daniel Ingram. That's funny. Daniel has been on the stream before, so I thought maybe he popped in. Okay, here we go. This is Nick says.
Was trying to focus more on the sensations of the hands to silence it, but it seemed to bring on more instability. Maybe the intensity, focus will increase on its own over time if I just stay with this continuously with a large scope instead of trying to force narrow the focus.
Oh yeah, don't try not to focus like narrowly. It really is this thing of like not this part of the mind, and it's like objects in this part of the mind present themselves like very like, okay, there's the sensations of the hands. Like if you do this right now, like really make them really clear. They're at the foreground. They're so in the front of our experience. They're like, really clear at the front of the mind versus allowing awareness to be big and sort of detecting those sensations within that field somewhere. You don't know where, it doesn't matter so much, but you know the sensations. The where isn't so important. So if we focus in, it can often become very agitated. So we're trying to, that's what a lot of this is about, learning to balance attention and awareness in that way. Nick says,
that's why I said, like the mind hates shamatha last time, there's absolutely no space for thoughts to sneak in and be useful, like when doing more insight stuff. But sometimes people use the mind as a synonym for consciousness, so it can be a bit confusing.
Yeah, the mind is very ill-defined mind. If I were to like put a gauntlet down, I would say the mind, this is my general breakdown, would be see in, hear in, and awareness, which awareness sort of swipes and takes everything, absorbs everything in. It's interesting because over time, I would love if I was just like, nope, I take Shinzen's definition. This is what the mind is. I guess you also have to include attention, but again, I feel like those are ways of observing those experiences. But anyway, it does throw a big wrench in the symmetry of Shinzen's system. But if you don't know what any of those words mean, don't worry about that. Julia says,
sounds like the handiwork of a skilled teacher. My hands feel like a vaguely hand-shaped blob. Vaguely
hand-shaped is great, as long as we're not like convinced that it is like, that's all there is, it's exactly this shape and size, because it's just not, that's not how the sensations work. Here's, if you want an exercise that'll actually show you this pretty directly, is hold the hands and feel the sensation of the hands pressing together, right? Just feel that together. And then separate them and still feel the hands. So they have a little space. You can still feel the hands. Give them a little more space, still feel the hands, a little more space. And actually, once you get like out here, sometimes you have to close. I'm starting to notice it's easier to close my eyes because the visual data is like breaking in. Rather than being like hand, and bouncing back and forth between the two, just holding them as one blob of sensation and realizing, here's another example, you cannot feel the space between them. If you travel across sensations in one hand, there's no gap. There's just other sensations in the other hand, because we're looking at the sensation sort of range of touch. So actually there's touch sensations across this whole field between the two. The only thing that tells us there's no touch between these two hands is the mind. There's nothing but touch sensation from hand to hand. So if that's available, then lovely. If not, then that's confusing. Nick says, I use the mind for only visual auditory thoughts, not the rest. Yeah, there you go. That works. That's a very kind of traditional Shinzonian perspective. Okay, hit me now. Let's see. Okay. Any other questions, reports, interest, opportunities? I got to deal with the puppy and the shattered glass, which, man, am I the only one who really, really feels a personal resentment against broken glass? I feel like it's like offensively pernicious. I'm like, come on, really? You're like, and I have a studio, so like if a glass breaks over here, it's like you have to just assume that it's like 60 feet over here on the ground, like in the carpet. Like, it's basically what I do is I get a flashlight and put it at the point where the glass broke and then shine it, and anywhere that light can hit, I have to go clean over there. Like, and it's a giant space. So yeah, the puppy's doing well. She's back from the hospital, so she's doing okay. I would have her here, but it's just too much because she gets really excited to hang out and play. I basically have a routine now. Should probably talk to a trainer. I think this is a good plan, but she basically is like, we play for 15 minutes, whatever, food, pee, whatever, back in her crate, go to bed. Play, so whenever she's out, she's like, it's playtime. So that's generally it. As a puppy, I think that's a pretty good stabilizing system. Okay, folks, lovely, lovely to see you here. We're going to be back here in fewer than 48 hours. That is right. Good times for all. And I'm very excited to see everyone then. That is going to be when we will see each other. So thank you, everyone, for joining. It has been such a delight here. And let's listen to some music, folks. In this particular moment, listening to these dulcet sounds, to those nice feels that come along with fun, delightful music. Feel the momentum of the practice that we just did. Feel the connection with the group of people doing this together. We have a message here from Daniel. Oh, it's a late report. Okay. We're doing a rare. Let's let's see here. Shoot, I wonder if you can, if I had the computer read this, if it would happen. I'll just read it myself. I felt my hands like they were breathing and pulsating. Great. So that's the sensations changing shape, which is different than the image of the hands. It actually intensified a lot when I opened my eyes, not uncommon, and let the light come in. It felt like my hands were magnets attracting and repelling each other for some reason. Yeah, don't worry about why, just that's what was happening. I had trouble keeping my whole body awareness. That's fine. Don't worry, like, again, the object of meditation is the hands, and holding them in a big space is all that matters. We don't have to hold the body and the hands necessarily, it's just a big space. Nick says, when I don't listen to the mind, I get really confused as to what I really want. Bye and calm rest for Willow. Yes, thank you very much. So folks, as always, practice well, take care of each other, have fun, and we will see you all very, very soon. Okay, folks.